thing I like most about bass fishing is that it's worldwide. There we go. It's a universal language. You know, I've got buddies in Florida and Australia, and when we're in the same room, even though we're from different parts of the world, we're all speaking the same language.
So let's start right from the beginning on what was it like growing up as just like a kid addicted to fishing on Lake of the Woods specifically?
It was awesome. Growing up here, I didn't realize that I was training to be a better angler. You know, it was just all I wanted to do from daylight till dark. And it's all I cared about for the longest time. I moved to Canora when I was about 15, and I thought I was a pretty good angler. I went out with some buddies, and they showed me largemouth bass, which we didn't have where I came from. And that entire summer, I got an old boat from a shop teacher in high school. I had a hand control trolling motor and a battery I'd take out, and I'd go every single day until I could, until I could flip for largemouth, until I could throw a top water for smallmouth. And since then, everything else I still love fishing for everything else, but I was just like, this is the pinnacle. Oh yeah, it's all over. Here come the pretzels. There we go, there's a big bucket. Of course I put my braid through my split ring. It's okay, it's not like they're going nuts up there. This is like a horror movie trying to watch someone put the keys in. Stop it. Those are all big bass. I told you they were jumping over here. Dude.
You want help? Chainsaw guy could come if you need it.
Did you see all those?
Of course I saw him.
That is the dream spot.
You can cast anytime. Just whenever you want.
Yeah, okay. Might have lunch now, actually. When I was just going fishing all the time, it wasn't to get pictures or get videos or, train on a technique that I can use in a tournament. It was just, this is awesome, and I don't ever want this to stop, and I can't get enough of it. Try the giant heavy hitter. Boat drives by, they're gonna think we're musky slinging. Oh boy. Start the car. That was the biggest one in the pack. They're all coming right to the boat. Buffalo. There's a 5-pounder. How awesome is that? Oh, that's probably the coolest bass we've caught all year. 1 ounce Smeltinator, the giant new heavy hitter. That's awesome. The first year I did the full Bassmaster Opens schedule in 2023, I found myself on multiple different occasions stealing sample packs from 2 of my buddies that I traveled with that are on the Rapala team. I had a different soft plastics brand that I'd been working with for a couple years, and I was very happy. This is why we're in second season, because the first year I said, no thanks, I'm happy where I'm at. I just saw how good they were. I didn't want to fish without them, and I was just like, there's no way this train is passing through the station without me on it. I mean, that ain't a bad one. There's a big Cisco. I'll grab that Sisker. I mean, I don't have a tape measure with me, but that's the exact length. Traveling all around North America fishing Bassmaster tournaments is nuts. Day 3, man. We're on a little roll now. Anyone that's done it will tell you your first, few years or few events, you pack a bunch of stuff and have all these big plans for all these wild baits that you've never used before, and you want to use what the locals have. So you go on eBay and buy local stuff, and the most effective way I've found is to just simplify everything. That's the combo. Smallmouth, largemouth, Alabama to the absolute line of northern limit largemouth. It doesn't matter if I'm on Lake of the Woods or Lake Hartwell or St. Clair or Eufaula, I'm gonna have the same baits in my boat and they're not ever gonna leave. The way I present them to the fish might be a little bit different, but it really made it easy to simplify it. When you have a bait works everywhere, you have 7 or 8 techniques that when you land on some of these lakes, you may as well be on Mars. Like, they look nothing like Lake of the Woods. And it sounds goofy to say, but just having confidence in a handful of baits that catch fish, it doesn't matter where you are, it just puts your mind at ease a little bit. Fishing with CrushCity, especially when I had it early, I just felt like I had an advantage to the boat in front of me. But anything that good can only stay quiet for so long. On Lake St. Clair last year, my buddy Trevor McKinney, he had 27 something. That was the biggest bag ever weighed in on St. Clair in a national event in the entire history. And I talked to him that night, and he had just started with Rapala, and I was like, he's got to be on the mooch minnow. And he's like, I'm using a Rapala bait that isn't out yet. The second day, I had the second biggest bag of the event on the mooch minnow and the second biggest national bag ever there. So I was like, okay, we're on the same program here. And the last morning of the tournament, on the top 10 day, he asked me if I had any 2.5-inch Mayer swim baits. I was just like, the 2 biggest bags ever on St. Clair. I'm thinking there's no way it's anything but a mooch minnow, and he's got another new plastic that is made of different material. Mine stretches, his doesn't. His is a swim bait, mine's a minnow bait. Like, what are we doing here? This is out of control. That whole minnow is like half digested. Just because you're a minnow shaker doesn't mean you have to be a finesse minnow shaker. I'm not nearly dialed enough to tell you why they catch fish. I think that's Wheeler's department and Quinn and Kyle Wood. But whatever they're doing, I want more of it. I can't tell you why. I've been bass fishing for so long, and there's, you can tell pretty quick even if a bait's the exact same shape, whatever is in the recipe makes a big difference. And to have a perfect action on top of that recipe, it's the ultimate combination. The KBI is the Super Bowl of bass fishing tournaments in Canada. It's the Canora Bass International. It's been around for over 30 years. It's the highest entry fee, highest participation tournament in Canada, but it's the crown jewel up here. We started fishing it in 2009, Brian and myself. Year after year, the second year, we brought my old 17-foot 97 bass boat through the boat parade in the top 10, and we finally pulled her off in 2014, and it was just like, oh, this is not happening again. The last couple of years, I haven't really spent any time fishing around home. I'd been traveling lots. There's no better place to have fun than 3 days on Lake of the Woods with a huge party after and big crowds, but it would be nice to win. And we were lucky enough, the water was up high. It was high in 2014 when we won. Let's just go flipping. Just double cleanup craws, picking everything apart. If you're willing to sacrifice not making the top 10 to go for the win, that's when you make those moments happen.
Moments like these don't come around every day. 10 years to the day.
There he is. There's a 5-pounder.
again.
Being in the boat parade is just like a party for your culmination of efforts. No one makes it there without total commitment for a period of time. That's your payoff. You know, there's a couple thousand people in the crowd. The hype is wild. It's something special, and we take it for granted for sure. It kind of took me traveling around to see that there are very few places where you could ever see anything like that in fishing. And I think the only place I've seen a bigger crowd is the Bassmaster Classic, which is pretty crazy. Yeah, it means a lot to me, and it seems silly to, you want to get your boat towed through and pull out your fish, like explaining it to someone else, they wouldn't get it unless you were in fishing or had been there. And that's, yeah, I hope that never goes away. I'll do everything I can to make sure it doesn't go away. Usually you don't build a high performance team like the CrushCity crew just because you want them to share your stuff on Instagram. A lot of the reason that you have a crew like that is to provide you input on the products. And I think that's happening a lot, and that's why you're seeing such a great product. The proof is in the pudding. I mean, all you have to do is go fishing with it and you'll see.